Thanks for joining me. Today I'll be interviewing a couple of young anglers from the Delta Saints Bass Club. Jaxs and Nate recently won the MLF High School tournament out here on the Delta, and they qualified for the national tournament. We'll talk about the baits that they used, the water that they were fishing, and we'll talk about their whole day of just how they went about winning this tournament. Before we get into the interview, I'd like to introduce you to some of the guys, some of the other fellas that are fishing for the Delta Saints Club. We'll go through a few pictures here and we'll get right into the interview. Check it out. I think you're going to find a lot of useful information here. Let's go.
Yeah, BroNeck. Yeah, you know what it is. Every time we at the water, man, we catch a fish. Yeah, screaming, get the net. That's the same bass. What you expect? See my tackle box, you can tell I cast everything. Deep and shallow, deep and shallow, deep and shallow, deep and shallow. Looking for them hogs with my boat on plane. Deep and shallow, deep and shallow, deep and shallow, deep and shallow. Up early, making fish shake. Set the hook on them so they can't escape. Tap my line, then you get yanked. Delta Saint bass, making reels crank. We out here running things, you just a light jog. We hitting weigh-ins up, double fisting hard. In the morning.
Hey guys, you're watching In Deep on the Delta. I'm here with the Delta Saints Bass team, and I've got the winning MFL team that fished last week, and I'm going to have these guys introduce themselves. We'll talk a little bit about how you guys, your background a little bit, and then you guys are going to spill the beans on how you pulled out a 15.8, was that what it was? 15.8 bag last week. You guys know how tough it's been out there, so that is a great weight. So why don't you guys introduce yourself to start off with?
Yeah, my name is Brad Soto. I'm the coordinator of the Delta Saints Bass team here in Clarksburg, California.
My name is Jaxs Soto, and I go to Delta High School as a freshman.
I'm Nathan Tritt, and I'm a sophomore at Delta High School.
And Nate and Jack, you guys are obviously team partners.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you've been team partners for 3 years.
Yes.
How long have you been fishing? When did you guys start fishing?
Since like 2 or 3 years old for me.
Okay.
Yeah, the same for me. Yeah.
All right. And how long have you been tournament angling?
I've done it longer than him. I think 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, and 3 years for me.
And how many tournaments do you guys fish per year?
About 13.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the Delta is your home water. You're from Clarksburg. You guys live pretty close to the river right here. You consider the Delta your home water?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. These guys are not new to this game. They fished a lot of tournaments. I can tell you, I've talked to them before. Last year they qualified for the Nationals. You guys went down to Alabama. You qualified as a top 5 team in the state.
Yeah.
By winning the MFL tournament last Saturday, you guys qualified for the Nationals this year. I don't know where you guys going to be fishing. Wisconsin, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into all the details, and you guys I think you're qualified to give some information to some of the guys that watch In Deep on the Delta, the weekend anglers that are going out there. The fish are starting to get on a little bit of a bite, and you guys kind of figured out what was going on. You're going to talk about some of the baits you use. We'll talk about, I understand you guys had no pre-fishing.
No, not me, Nathan, no.
Okay. So
I got to see the water a little bit. We were fortunate enough to have one of our kids on our team his dad has a shop near where we were fishing, and we were able to see from a bridge that it had clear water.
Okay, so you guys kind of went out scouted, road scouting.
It wasn't even. It was just like, oh hey, look at that, you know.
Okay, and by the way, Brad was the boater for these guys. So what did you find that you liked in the area that you went to? You looking for temperature, water clarity, or what were you looking for?
Clear water.
Clear water.
Yeah.
What did you find?
We found a lot more clear water, a lot more rocks, a lot more open laydowns and stuff like that.
And when you're talking clear water, what was the visibility?
2, 3 feet.
2 feet. Okay, so it wasn't chocolate milk, but it was clearer than what you guys had been fishing.
Yeah.
And you guys, I think, said that particular area that you were fishing at about 58, 60 degree temperature?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so you had 2 feet of visibility. Was this in a main river? Was it in a slough? What were you guys looking for?
It was in a slough.
Yeah.
In a slough.
Yeah.
Did you guys start off at the confluence of the main river? Did you fish halfway back, or did you go all the way up the slough?
About halfway back.
About halfway back. And in this particular slough, were you fishing rock? Were you fishing wood? Was there something that you were looking for, or when you started out, did you guys just say, we've just got to start covering water and let it fall where it may, or did you say, I want to fish wood, or I want to fish rock, or?
We were trying to cover as much water as possible, see if we could pick up a pattern or anything like that, but it was more so rocks and trees and lay down and stuff like that.
Okay, so you guys didn't have like one bait that you said we can focus on and we're both going to be putting on a worm or something?
No, not until later on.
Okay, so when you started fishing during the day, you were fishing faster moving baits. I would let me know some of the baits you were running through to cover that water.
Yeah, we were using a heavy hitter chatterbait, chartreuse heavy hitter chatterbait, and we were trying to. All of our rods almost had chartreuse or really, really bright colors. Mm-hmm. And 30 minutes in, we caught a fish.
So 30 minutes in, you got a fish on a chatterbait, and that was a keeper, I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was our biggest fish.
It was our big fish. We caught our big fish.
Okay, and what was your big fish?
4.55 pounds.
Okay, so 4.5 pounds, and you guys had 15.8. Everybody's kind of figuring this out. It's not like they went out and got lucky and got a 9-pound fish and caught a couple of fish. You guys put 5 keepers in the boat,
yeah,
and they had to be all solid fish in that 2.5, high 2 to 4.5. Mm-hmm. So that's a good bag, and you guys were catching quality fish through the day. How many fish did you catch during the day?
About 7 all day.
7, and you had 7 bites, 7 fish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and again, not a lot of fish for the Delta, but what was going on out there, I'm sure when you guys were looking, thinking, hey, if we can go out there and get 3 or 4 bites, you probably would have felt pretty good.
Yeah.
You got 7 bites and picked up 7 fish.
Yeah.
And so once you caught that fish, what were the baits that you had? You were covering water. You caught that one fish on a chatterbait. What were the other baits that you were using, and did you keep using those baits, or did you just go to a chatterbait?
For another hour or so, then we started using a jerkbait on rocks, and we started actually catching them on rocks. But this wasn't the exact jerkbait. It was a bright orange, bright red, bright yellow. We were just trailing it behind the boat through rocks, and while he was in front, and I caught one off of a keep, only 12 inches off of a jerkbait.
And were you guys? Was there a trick? You just picked up one fish on a jerkbait, so no real pattern on the jerkbait.
No, we just had it. I was just trailing it behind, just so see if I can catch one.
Okay.
While we're going through.
Okay. And so, what are the other baits that you were using as far as moving baits? And did you catch any fish on any of the other moving baits that you?
Nathan caught his fish off of this.
Mr. B. Lure's green pumpkin spinnerbait,
Mm-hmm.
and just rolling it by trees.
All right. So Mr. B's spinnerbait, and is that ½ ounce?
Yeah.
And it looks like you got a Zaco.
No, that's actually a what is that? The
Trailer? Is that a
big bite baits?
Kamikaze Swimming?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like it.
Yeah, and the other thing that I want to point out, I don't know, what are these blades? What color is
I think
that?
they call it black nickel, I think is what
Black
it is.
nickel. So a dark color spinnerbait, and you got a nice one on this.
Yeah, that was later on.
Later on, it became a little bit overcast, and so we got rid of the chartreuse colors
And started getting the darker.
and started with the darker colors, and that seemed to do it.
At this point, are you guys staying on rock? Are you going rock, wood?
We're staying close to the bank and throwing rock. Yeah.
How deep were you getting your fish?
We were fishing 7 feet of water.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys are on the bank. Though.
Well,
Casting on the bank.
you had the boat positioned in 7 feet
Yeah.
of water. You were casting to the bank.
Probably.
And I see you have a worm there. So at some
I'll
point,
get to that guy.
did
He's
you
the
guys
central
slow
man.
down and start fishing worms? Was it a tide thing? What part of the tide did you start catching the fish on?
It was in contact.
Well, the first part of the tide, I believe, was the incoming tide.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, it was outgoing. The last tail part of the outgoing tide. Right in between the slack tide, Nathan started picking up the Senko. We had a little bit of chartreuse tip in it, and they ended up catching 3. That were huge. They're only 1.5 pounds, but they're box fillers. So
And that's kind of what brand of a worm is that?
that's a Yamamoto.
Yeah, a Yamamoto, and it looks like. Do you know what color that is? It's brown with the chartreuse.
I don't know.
tail.
In pre-fish, we caught a couple on a chartreuse crankbait and a chartreuse chatterbait. So
And were you using this with a weight?
No.
Just standard
Stick bait.
just stick bait with no weight and throwing it out and letting it sink to the bottom. Were you twitching it or just letting them find it?
Just letting it fall and just sat there.
Mm-hmm. So that put what, 3 fish in the boat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then what did you call your fish on?
Oh, well, that's it.
The another heavy hitter is chatterbait, but this one's a green pumpkin and red. And once it got overcast outside, we decided to switch it up and go darker, and this is what we got them on.
And you know, we were talking before. Did you guys also throw a crankbait during the day?
We threw a lot of cranks, yeah.
And nothing on the crankbait.
No, we tried throwing as much cranks we could as on rocks and openings and stuff like that, and we couldn't catch anything. on crank.
Yeah, we tried red, tried chartreuse. We caught 3 the previous day on the chartreuse.
Now, did you catch all of them in the same slough?
Yeah, well, we tried another spot. When we pre-fished, we caught them in 2 different spots. We went to the other spot in between the tide to try to catch that tide earlier. There was 2 other boats there in the tournament there. It really necked down. The water seemed to be not as clear, and so we fished there for about 5 minutes and went right back to our
Okay,
spot.
so you stayed in the same slough and just worked it hard.
Yeah.
What do you think triggered most of your fish? Was it color, or was it the place you were fishing, or I mean, just what do you think led to your success?
I think it was the color, honestly. It was the overcast is when darker color started hitting, and when it was lighter, it started being chartreuse. So
Okay, so overcast, you want the darker colors like these things you were pulling up, and then when the sun came out, you went to something like chartreuse, and there's just a little bit of chartreuse in here. I notice it's not a full, and I notice your jerkbait there. You've got it's kind of like a sexy shad. There's a chartreuse line in it, so you didn't go like that bright chartreuse or anything. You just had to have some chartreuse in it.
yeah.
Nathan tried, an all chartreuse Senko, and didn't get a single bite.
One more thing I got to ask you guys. You guys are out there. You put in a lot of time on the water. Jax, you're going out, and you don't know when you're going out. You're on the Delta. There's one bait you have to use. What's your favorite bait out there in color?
I know both those
Right
things.
now, yeah, it's gonna be my chartreuse. It's gonna just be this
And
one.
you use white year round.
Year round, I would start, if it was in the Delta, I'd start using orange and reds.
Okay, and a half ounce.
Yeah.
Do you like to use a colored blade?
Sometimes gold works a lot better, especially in this dirtier water, but I like using silver blades.
And any particular chatterbait that you like? I mean, are you specific to a brand?
I like heavy hitters.
Okay. And how about you, Nate?
I would throw a Senko.
Senko?
Yeah,
Okay.
no matter what.
And what's your color?
Like a purple emerald flake or a green pumpkin. Special.
Okay. And do you throw a lot of stuff with chartreuse tails, or you just were picking that one up because of chartreuse? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to make a donation to the club, how do they get a hold of you?
Probably the best way is through our Instagram page. Just direct message me, Delta Saints Bass team, or Delta Saints Bass, I think is what it is. But yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. So.
All right, Delta Saints, you guys can find these guys, and you can get a hold of Brad, and he can talk to you about any donations. And so, guys, thanks for talking with me, and I appreciate you guys sharing your information.
Yeah.
And congratulations again, and go out there and win another, and we'll do this again.
Yeah, we'll be back in the Delta, I think, next week is already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully you guys don't hit our spots, but we'll hopefully we can repeat.
And I also need to hit Brad up. You send me reports, from the team and everything, so that helps on the weekly reports. And I know all you guys that watch the weekly reports, it's all kind of combined here. We got guys coming in, young guys like this, and they're able to share information, and maybe we'll see some bigger things out of you guys. We might be watching you on a Sunday morning on TV sometime.
Yeah, get them through school, maybe a scholarship or something like
Yeah.
that.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. We'll see you on the water. And if you see these guys, make sure you stop by and say hi to them.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
All right, see you guys on the water.